So you can ask questions anytime you want. Small questions I will answer then and there. Large questions I will answer at the end. And I want to introduce all the components to you. Spending just 2 minutes on a presentation. So Power BI, all of you know, is a Microsoft tool. It was launched in 2015 and it is used by 97% of Fortune 500 companies, right? So nearly all the largest companies in the world are using Power BI now. What is it? It's a business intelligence tool. So it integrates with different platforms. It can integrate to Excel, SAP, SQL, Google Big Data, Salesforce. So there is no connector that Power BI cannot connect to, right? The important thing here is that Power BI has both inbuilt and custom visualizations. So you can either use the inbuilt charts that are available, or you can use charts that have been created by other developers. So this is like an application. So you can just download it and you can start working with it. And there are hundreds of different visuals available on Power BI, as you can see here. Right? There are, of course, many other components. There is Power Query, Power Pivot, and we will get into all of that. If you don't already have Power BI with you, you can always download it later. You can just Google Power BI download, and it doesn't ask for a sign in. You don't have to create an account. You can simply download Power BI directly. So just click on download and you should be able to download Power BI. A better idea to download Power BI is to download it from the store. So from the Microsoft Store, you can download it. Remember, Power BI is only available for Windows. It is not available for Mac, right? So you can just search for Power BI and download it. The file is about 250 MB, but this is better because this will automatically get updated as well, right, from the store. For today's example, I want to take a data set and spend a few minutes talking about the data that we have with us. So if you notice, we have a fairly large data. There are about 50,000 records. And what are the columns that we have? We have the row and the order ID, the order date and the shipping date, the shipping mode, the customer ID and the customer name. Then we have the business segment. After that, we have the city, state, country, region, and market. So the company is selling products in 165 different countries. After that, we have the product details. So the ID, category, subcategory, and the name. And finally, we have the numbers. So sales quantity, discount, and profit, right? It's a very simple data set. I'm going to work with the India data set because that would be more relevant for us. So this is 50,000. And as you can see, we have slightly lesser columns here. So order date, ship date. Let me just select it properly. Order date, ship date, customer name, city, state, country, region, market. Then we have category, segment, subcategory, and sales quantity, discount, and profit. Now, if you want to analyze this, the easiest way to do this on Excel would be to make a pivot table, correct? You will make a pivot, put something in rows and something in columns, and then do your analysis. But it becomes much, much easier if you are doing this using Power BI, and I want to show you how. As you can see, there are no formulas in my workbook right now. I'm opening a completely fresh new Power BI file. In the top left corner, you can see there are different types of data sets that we can connect to. So we can connect to either a local file, which would be Excel, text, CSV, XML, JSON, like this. We can connect to files. We can connect to different types of databases as well. So we have SQL Server, Oracle, MySQL, PostgreSQL, even SAP can be connected to. Then we have Microsoft Power Platforms. We have Microsoft Cloud, that would be Microsoft Azure. We have other online services as well, which is Google Analytics, Salesforce, and so on and so forth. And then you have some random data connectors, like you can connect directly to the internet, you can connect to ODC feeds, you can even connect directly to Python and R. So you can do your scripting directly on Power BI. But for now, we are not concerned with all of this. We want to connect to an Excel file. So I will select Excel, connect. It will ask us for the Excel file. I will select Global Superstore Orders, open it. And it is asking us which of the tables do we want. So we want the compact data set, load it. And as you can see, all we have done so far is like a pivot table. We have connected to the data and we have the data set, that Excel file, which is now connected to Power BI, right? Now comes the difference between Excel and Power BI. Power BI has these visualizations that you see here. Let me just close my annotation tool and open it again because it doesn't seem to be working properly. Let me try once again. That's strange. Okay, I'm not sure why it's not working. Let me turn off Epic Pen. Okay, let me restart it. All right, let's see if it is working now. Perfect, it's working now. Okay, so we have all these visualizations that are available here. And then on the right, we have a list of all the different fields that we have. Now, if you want to work like Excel, you can select a chart and put different values in it, which we can do, but we want to work smarter. We want to save time. So we will select the Q&A, which is the question and answer. The Q&A allows you to ask a question about your data directly on Power BI. So you don't even have to be connected to the internet. You can simply ask a question straight away. For example, I can ask, what is my total sales? And it automatically tells me that my total sales is $12.64 million. If I want to see what is my total sales for each business segment, I can say for each business segment, it tells you consumer, corporate, home office. Now you notice that business is underlined in red because in our data, it was actually called segment. See, Power BI is very smart. You don't have to write the exact words. As long as it is similar, it will work. Now, some of you must be thinking, but do we have to remember these queries? Of course not. I have written for each. If you said for all, you would have got the result. If you had said for every, you would have still got the result. If you had said by, you would have still got the result. That's the best part. Let me just see the questions as well. Sort of the audio should be clear because let me still double check. I think it's working for the others. But my connection, I have a 300 Mbps connection, so maybe you can just try to disconnect and reconnect. That might help, right? Is it working? All right. So what is my total sales by segment? Works wonderfully. But what if you want to see the data only for India? You can say for India only. And now it is showing you for India, consumer, corporate, home office. What if you want to see the states? You can say show me my sales for each state in India as a map. How cool is that? Watch this. Show me sales for each state in India as a map, and it automatically creates a map for you. That's the beauty of the tool, right? And it's not that you can't customize it. These can be customized very well. For example, I can just click on this button. So this is the chart that we wanted. And if you put the city below our state, you notice that, let's say I want to look at, sorry, city should come below the state. If I want to look at UP, I can click on UP and it shows me all the states in UP, right? Very cool. So if I click on MP, it shows me all the cities in MP. As a matter of fact, if you had the country here, it would have shown you all the countries as well. Right, watch this. Let me just remove my India filter first so that you can see all the countries in the world. Right? Amazing, right? And the best part is that all of this is dynamic, which means that if we make a slicer, and in the slicer, we have selected my region. Any region that you click on, you notice that it automatically zooms into that region. Okay? Once you have done that, if you want to break it down into states and cities, you can do that also. No coding required, no formulas required, for that matter, no manual work required. Everything is automatically connected to each other, right? And this tool is very powerful, and Microsoft keeps on building more capabilities in this tool, right? Let me give you one more example. I've created a column chart, and in the column chart, I will keep my order date, my sales amount, and let's say, yeah, that should be enough. My order date and my sales amount, right? I'm also going to add a border and a shadow so that it looks a little better. But where is the details? Like, what if I want to create a summary from the data? Watch this. Right click, summarize. How cool is that? In one click, it will automatically create a summary telling you that the sales has gone up, which is a 90% growth in the last 4 years. The average per year is 3,160,000. The longest period of growth was, I mean, the entire period is of growth. So obviously the entire period is growth, and the sales have increased the last 3 years on record. And again, the best part is that all of this is dynamic. That means that if I make a slicer for my segment, look what will happen. If I click on any segment, do you see how the numbers are also changing? How cool is that? Like, imagine doing this manually. It would take you so much time to get all these numbers one by one. Right? And before you ask your questions, one last example. You can see that from 14 to 15, there is a growth that has happened. But what is the reason behind the growth? Which countries are growing, which are not growing? Which segments are growing, which is not growing? Which subcategories are growing and which are not growing? How do you find that? If I right click on 2015, you notice that it gives me many options here, right? I will select analyze because I want to analyze what is the reason behind the 2015 growth to be so high. And when I say explain the increase, it will use its own AI and it will tell me that Havish, from 14 to 15, your sales has grown. But if you notice, the green ones are the ones that have grown and the red ones are the ones that have fallen. So if you notice, most of the countries, most of the states have grown. But do you see this? Indiana, there was a decrease. In 2014, we did 26,000. In 2015, we did 7,600. If you notice here, it is telling me which market has shown the maximum growth. So if you look at Europe, Europe has shown a 39% growth. Here we have a 25%, 20%, 16%, and 23%. How cool is that? Right? It is automatically detecting the growth for each market year over year. And like this, you have many, many different analysis available. And all of this is in the click of a button. So we did not have to do anything. All I did was right click and, I'm sorry, all I did was right click and summarize, analyze, and explain the increase. You also have something called find where this distribution is different. This is something I personally don't like a lot because I find this a little hard to represent, but and this has been in preview for more than 2 years now. So I don't think Microsoft is focusing on it. But this one is very handy. Explain the increase or explain the decrease, right? Right. Let me just see the questions once. So Harshal, the application is not for analysis only. It's not for visualization only. How Microsoft refers to Power BI is that they say that it's a unified platform. That means it works on different platforms very well. It's a scalable platform, so it can be used self-service. As an individual, you can use it for free, but as an enterprise, it can scale up. So large organizations with 20,000 people can also use it, and it allows you to generate insights from the data. So it's not just analysis, it's analysis, visualization, generating insights, a little bit of all of these things, right? It can also do calculations for you. Absolutely. I mean, a dashboard is what you end up creating with it. So if I may show you an example from my own website, everyone, you can see that this dashboard that I have on my website right now, this has been created on Power BI. Look at this. It's fully interactive. Like, you can't do something like this on PowerPoint, right? You can create a slide, but can you create a dynamic dashboard like this on PowerPoint? No way. You can make it dynamic on Excel, but it will not look good. You can make it look good on PowerPoint, but it will not be dynamic, right? Power BI solves that problem. It allows you to make a dynamic dashboard like this. And there are many, many examples that you will find. Report generation is not really what Power BI does, because the idea of Power BI is that while it can give you summaries like this, you still have to create a chart and ask the right questions, isn't it? I mean, if Power BI could automatically generate a report for you, then why would you need an analyst, right? The analyst still needs to ask the right questions to the data. All right. Now, as you can see, there are many visualizations available. So we can ask questions, we can create summaries. But what makes Power BI very special, and this is in fact one of the differences between Power BI and Tableau, which is that in Power BI, you can download more visualizations, but in Tableau, you have to create it, which is much more difficult. Also, learning Power BI is much simpler. Learning Tableau is much more difficult, right? In Power BI, if you want more visualizations, you can simply select more visuals from here. And this is like a store, like you have the Android and the iOS store. So you have these different visuals available, and most of these are free of cost. For example, you notice there are so many, there are 100, I think there are 200 plus visualizations available. Let me give you an example. I want to show you the Pulse chart, Pulse, this one. It has been created by Microsoft, and what it does is, watch this, this is very cool. I'm making the Pulse chart. In the Pulse chart, I will keep my order date and my sales amount. Now, a lot of you must be thinking that, isn't this just a trend line? Like, what's the big deal? But look at the difference now. The difference between a normal trend line and a pulse chart, everyone, is this. Like, I'm looking at the data for the last 6 months. The pulse chart can draw a pulse. It's dynamic. So if I click on this play button, look at this. How cool is that? Like, once you see this, would you ever feel like presenting your chart as a static chart? Like, doesn't it look so much more amazing than a normal chart? And this is fully customizable. That means that the speed, the annotations, everything can be controlled by you. So you can change the data range also. Like, I've selected, let's say, only the last 2 months. I can go to format, and in format, I have all the options that I require. So you notice we have the position, we have the data inputs, right? So everything can be changed. 1 second, let me just change the format. For my playback, I will change the speed to 50, right? See how it works now. So now this will be a faster pulse like this. Right? There is no way to put this on PowerPoint. You can copy this, you can't copy and paste it in PowerPoint. You can download it as a PowerPoint presentation, but then it will not be dynamic. It will be static. It will just be a screenshot, right? So you're not supposed to create a PowerPoint presentation from Power BI. You're supposed to present it like this, the way I'm doing it right now. Right? So in a way, Power BI, I would say, is a competitor to PowerPoint, right? But is this the only one? No, there are many other visualizations available. Let me give you an example. So I'm just making this a little smaller, as well, right? And watch this. One more custom visual, which is my drill down donut chart. This one, advanced donut visual. It's like a pie chart, but it is an interactive and dynamic pie chart. So let me add it. Okay. And see how it works. Now, all of you have worked with pie charts earlier. So how is it different? It is different because you can add multiple layers in it. That means I can add my category, my segment, and my subcategory. So I can add a maximum of 3 levels in it, if you notice. Now this is dynamic. That means that if I click on consumer, it shows me only the categories in consumer. And if I click on technology, it shows me only the subcategories in technology. How cool is that? So there are two advantages. One is that visually it looks very nice. And the other advantage is that if you were to make separate charts, you would have had to make multiple charts. Now you can make only one chart, which will show you all the information like this. Right? All right, now let's come to calculations. Now, sometimes what will happen is that you have many Excel files that you want to combine into a single report. How do you do that? Let's see. First, let me show you the file. So we have Power BI and Superstore model. So here, if you notice, we have 2013, 2014, and 2015. So we have 3 years of sales in 3 different Excel files. Now imagine opening every one, copy paste, errors will happen, formulas might not work. How do you make it work? I'll just copy the folder path, come back to Power BI, get data, more, and I want to connect not to a single file, but I want to connect to a folder like this, right? Connect and press OK. It automatically detects that there are 3 Excel files in that folder. You just have to combine it. And finally, it will ask you which sheet do you want. There is only one sheet, so I will select that sheet. So you notice, so far I did not do any formula. There was nothing complicated. There was no code. I just clicked on OK a few times. And now this amazing thing will happen. You notice that it will open a new window called Power Query Editor, which is a part of Power BI, which allows you to transform your data. It's called Power Query Editor. And what does it do? Power Query Editor, if you notice, has automatically combined 2013, 2014, and 2015. Amazing, right? 13, 14, and 15. But if I close it, which I'm doing right now, and I am putting my sales value, right, and my region as a table, it is showing you some numbers here, right? And I'm also putting my order date. So you can see my years as well, which is 13, 14, 15. But what if I add one more file to that folder? How do I repeat the process? For example, if I add 2016 in the same folder, right, which I've done just now, all that you have to do is to click on refresh. And you notice in one click, the data gets refreshed. How cool is that? That means that you have created a workflow automation. You don't have to repeat these steps over and over again. Once you have connected it to a folder, as and when you keep on changing values or add more files, it will automatically get updated. And if you want to change the folder, you can do that also. So it's not that you are stuck to one folder. At any point, if you want to change the folder, send the file to somebody else, you can always do that. In fact, Power BI is so powerful that even if you have folders within folders, it can still read all that information, right? And you can even have 500 files in a folder. And it is so powerful that it can handle all of that. Now, one question is that, but Havish, I have a slow computer. How will Power BI work fast? Or I don't have like a very fast computer. How will it work? If you have, let's say, 1 crore records, I'm not talking in lakhs, I'm talking in multiple lakhs. Now, see, when Power BI works, if you open the task manager and you open Power BI, you would notice that. Do you see this? Microsoft SQL Server is running at the backend, which is what makes it so powerful, right? I don't want to get into the technical details, but you can Google it later. There is something called X Velocity, which is the memory engine that SQL Server uses and Power BI also uses, right? And basically, this is what highly compresses your data. So if you give it a very large data set, it will reduce the size. It's like zipping the file. It will reduce the size a lot. And by reducing the size a lot, it is able to work very, very fast, right? In fact, if you search for Power BI data limit, you will see that this is the limit that you can import on Power BI. But in terms of large data sets, right? This is the quota that is given to you, which is 10 GB, which is crazy. I mean, how large can a file be? 5 MB, 10 MB, 50 MB, 100 MB, right? Even that would not happen, right? So you need not worry about it. And even if you have an even larger data set, which runs into multiple of GBs like big data, then you can run APIs here, right? Like you can work with Amazon and Microsoft Azure or Google Cloud, and that will allow you to work. So the short answer is that data size will never be a problem when you're working on Power BI, right? Like that Excel file that crashes, Power BI will never crash ever, right? It can crash due to other reasons, but not because of the data size, right? Great. So I've shown you Q&A, how you can ask questions, how you can make a map. I've shown you how you can create summaries and use AI to explain your data. And I've also shown you how you can create dynamic custom visualizations like this, like the pulse chart and the donut chart. And I've also shown you how to combine multiple files using Power Query into a single file, right? Now let me show you how machine learning works. So I'll click on transform data. Do you see this name? It says Aaron Bergman, Justin Ritter, Craig Ritter, Catherine Murray, and so on and so forth. Now, if I ask you that, can you separate the names like Aaron and Bergman should come in different columns? You will say, but we can do this in Excel. We have text to column. Here we have split column by delimiter. So very simple. If you say split column, it will split it into first name and last name, right? Nothing special. So what's the big deal? What if I ask you that I want Aaron space the letter B and a period, Justin space R period, Craig space R period. Can you write this formula on Excel? Of course you can, but it's not easy. It will take you a lot of time, right? Hence, what you should do is select the column, and in add column, we have something called column from example. This is a machine learning feature. How does it work? It asks you that, Havish, can you enter some sample values? That's what we do in machine learning, right? We give it some training data and some testing data. So I'm telling it, fine, I'll give you some samples. So I want to convert Aaron Bergman into Aaron. You notice it automatically separates all the first name. Now, a lot of you must be thinking, but Havish, this is so simple. You just took out the first name. If you had said Bergman, it would have taken out all the surname. But you can also reverse it. So if I said Bergman space Aaron, it will not work. That's okay. Let me give one more. So Ritter space Justin. Very cool. What if you gave it a different pattern? That means you wanted an underscore between the surname and the first name. Do you see this? The moment I do that, the same pattern is repeated for all the records. Let me give something different. Let's call it AA, okay, space BE. So I've taken the first two letters from the first name and the first two letters from the surname. JURI Beautiful, right? I mean, this is a meaningless example. Sometimes you need initials for the customers, but I'm just showing you how powerful the tool is. This entire formula that you see here, I did not need to write it. The machine learning was able to write it for us automatically. I just gave it some trained data. It tested the data, showed me the preview of the result. When I was satisfied with the result, and I can tweak it also. So the moment I'm satisfied with the result, it will automatically create a formula for me. And the best part is, now these formulas can be used wherever you want. You can just copy and paste it into any other Power BI file. In fact, all these features even work on Excel. So you can copy this in Excel also, right? All right. The next thing I want to show you is how you can connect um, Power BI with R, for example, right? So this is not an area where I'm an expert. And to save time, I will just quickly copy the code so that we don't have to type it ourselves. 1 second. Let me do this one example and then you can ask your questions. Okay. Some of you must be working on R. Some of you might have heard of R, right? So R is a data science language. The difference between Python and R is that Python is a general programming language, which can also do data science, but R is a specialized data science language. So there is a lot of overlap, right? And a lot of people say, which one should I learn? And the answer is quite simple. Like it depends on what you want to do. Do you want to learn programming from a general perspective, not just data programming? Then Python is the language for you. If you want to learn data science specifically, then R is the perfect language for you, right? As you can see, I can connect to both R and Python using Power BI. So I can click on R and I can write R scripts directly inside Power BI. Do keep in mind that R has to be installed on your computer for this to work, obviously, right? This is just the environment where you can write the code. So I'm just writing a very simple code right now. First, I'll import my libraries. Right? So I'll take my country. Okay, I don't have the country here. Never mind. What I'll do is I'll just explain it to you here itself to save some time because I want to show you some other things also. So what we're doing is we're taking our libraries, very simple. So there are certain libraries like R World Map, SP, Method, Teaching Demos. After that, we have 5 countries with us: Nigeria, China, Brazil, Italy, Australia. Very simple. All we are doing is we are basically using this, right? So there is a function called join country data to map. If it seems very odd, you can just copy this and I'll Google it. And you'll find that join country data to map is a function like you have VLOOKUP available in R, which basically allows you to show a geography, right? That's all. Join country data to map. Basically, you're joining the country data to the map, right? And once you have done that, it will automatically make a map for you, which is okay. And then you will notice that you will also be able to create a simple column chart. This is just a column chart like this. Now I know you must be thinking, but it doesn't look very polished. I agree with you. But that's not the point. The point is not to make it look polished. The point is to make it customizable. Like this can be customized any way that I want. I can change the color, the size of the map, the colors of the map, the type of chart that is coming on top. So everything is in my control right now. That's the power of integrating Power BI with R. Similarly, you can integrate Power BI with Python as well. I'll give you an example because I feel, I don't know, I assume that some of you will be working more with Python rather than R, but let me give you an example. So once you have installed it, okay, you can, which example should I show you? Let me just think. Okay, let's take this one. Right? So I'm just taking some data and showing a scatter chart like this, right? What do we keep in the scatter chart? Let's keep our, what do we have? Let's keep our sales, profit, and yeah, I think that's all we need. So let's keep our sales and profit, right? So I'll select PY, which is Python. And once I've selected Python, I can just select profit, sales, and my, yeah, I think that's all I require. Profit and sales. And let me copy this. So copy, come back, paste it here. We'll have to obviously change it. So on the x-axis, we will keep our sales value. On the y-axis, we'll keep our profit, which we usually do. I can choose the color. And if everything is going to work properly, we will be able to create a Python visualization. It's a very simple example, but the purpose of showing this to you is to tell you that do you see it? It is dynamic. How cool is that? The slicer is on Power BI. The visualization is on R, and they're integrating with each other. This is fantastic. That means that you can use the entire power of R, and you will be able to basically connect it to other Power BI visualizations. And if I click on this arrow, it will show you that you're actually running this code in Python right now, right? So obviously Python has to be installed on your computer, right? So remember, when you're doing R scripting or Python scripting, you notice that it is installed on my computer already. Right? See, for most of you, I'm assuming most of your students, you might not necessarily work on R and Python, even though you should have a little bit of understanding. But do keep in mind that it's good to know, because today you might not have the need for it. Maybe 5 years later, this becomes a very important requirement. Like 5 years back, everybody said, no, learn Excel and PowerPoint. Nobody said Power BI, right? So if in 5 years, so much has changed, do you not feel that by 2025, things will change even further, right? Harshal, I am not an expert on R or Python, either of them. So I do trainings, but I do very basic trainings, to be very honest with you. So I do basic trainings on Python for absolute beginners. Basically, if you have never done any coding in your life, you don't even know what a loop and a comment and a variable is, then this is the course for you, Python for absolute beginners. Then I tell you how to connect Python with Excel, how to create visualizations, and how to do web scraping, right? And then there is a basic course on R as well, which is a 5-hour course, again for absolute, like beginners in the sense that you don't even know how to install it, right? That is the audience that I teach. I am not an expert on R or Python, either of them. I'm learning over a period of time, but yeah, I mean that's the target audience that I have in these two areas. Right? Can you share the file? Just give me a moment, everyone. Hello. हाँ 2 मिनट में कर रहा हूँ मैं 9 बजे कर दूँ. Can I share the files? I'm sorry, Harshal, what files are you referring to? See, I have the one I showed right now. I mean, the links are there. I just copied and pasted it, right? Like it wouldn't help because in any case, you will have to install it. I don't mind doing it. I'll share the files with you. I'll do that. In fact, you can just Google it. It's called Global Superstore Dataset, Global Superstore Data. You can just download it. Global Superstore orders 2016. Just type Global Superstore and you will find it. Okay? Just remember this. The brochure, sure, I'll share that as well. I'll do that. Great. So good. We have seen visuals. We have seen custom visuals. We have seen R in Python. I have shown you how you can create an interactive dashboard as well. One more important thing is how to we combine multiple files. We used a little bit of machine learning. Now I want to show you how you can do calculations in Power BI. Right? Let me give you an example. Let us say you want to find the sales from new customers. Now it's very difficult to do that. If you want to know how much sales is coming from old existing customer and how much is coming from new customers, even on Excel, you have to write dozens of formulas for it. It's not that simple. How do you do it on Power BI? Very simple. Just click on Quick Measure. So these are inbuilt calculations. You don't have to do anything. Just click on Quick Measure. There is a calculation called sales from new customers. That's all. What do you do in this? The sales amount will be, I'm just selecting sales. The customer ID will be my customer. and the date will be my order date. Very simple, nothing complicated. You just have to drag and drop. And when I click on OK, what will happen is something fantastic. It will automatically create not just a function for me, it will create the entire query, entire formula for me, right? Like this. But we don't need to know how it works because this is all automatic. What I want to show you is how this looks in action. Watch this. If I put my sales and my sales for new customers, and I also put my order date. And why did it not work? Just give me a moment, everyone. All right. So as you can see the sales and the sales from new customers like this, right? And how is this working? Because you have created a measure, which is this one, sales for new customers. It's obviously a quite complicated formula, but the idea is that Power BI knows that these things are complicated. So they don't require you to do all of this. Like I obviously write these formulas for my projects, but the best part is that to begin with, you can simply use these automatic formulas. And there are many such automatic formulas that have been given here, right? Like this. So there are websites like DAX Patterns, where you will find ready-made formulas available. Watch this. No account required, free of cost. You have complete formulas written for you. You can just copy and paste it in your own data. Look at this. So a lot of people say, but Havish, if everything has already been done, then what's the challenge? Like, why is it difficult? It's difficult because you will still have to customize it, right? You still have to learn how it works, because if you don't learn it, then how will you make changes to it? Right? Okay, let me see any questions. Can I explain the BI ribbon and their functionalities? Um, I can give you an overview. So in home, we can connect to different data sets. I just highlighted for you. You can connect to different data sets. This is your Power Query, right? This is your custom visualizations, and this is for your calculations, right? Publish allows you to publish your data to the web. So if you want to publish your report to the cloud, this is how you do that. In insert, it's like PowerPoint. In insert, you have some visualizations, text box, shapes, buttons, images, just like PowerPoint. Modeling is for more advanced users. In modeling is for measures, and when you have multiple data sets, how you can create a relationship between them. And when you're sharing reports in an organization, different people will have different levels of access, right? Like somebody can see the data only for North, somebody can see the data for the entire country. That is called managing rows. View again is just the colors. So there are different themes available like this, just like PowerPoint. And then you can also change it to a mobile layout if you want to share it on a mobile screen like this, right? Let me go back to normal mode. Help gives you tutorials. You have videos and different types of examples available. And then you also have the ability of connecting Power BI to external tools. There are many external tools like Tabular Editor. This is for very advanced operations. Like Tabular Editor uses JavaScript if I want to run basically my Power BI queries and all. Yeah, I think I did it incorrectly. Let me just do it once again. Just giving you an example. 1 second. No problem. I'll make sure I've done it properly. Let me just work with a new file. Actually, I've connected two data sets. That's why the problem might be coming. Just give me 30 seconds. All right, so I will connect to get data, Excel. Let's select global, open. Right, I'll select my orders data set, I'll load it. And since we're working on a slightly advanced calculation, I will also have to create a new table, which is my date table. So I just say that my date table is equal to calendar, the minimum of order date and the maximum of order date. Just to be on the safer side, right? It's always better to have a date table created. Right? Once I've connected it, perfect. Now let's see, quick measure. I will go to sales from new customers. Why is it? Oh, no, it's working all right now. So in orders, we will select sales and put it in sales. My customer ID comes in ID and my date will be my date. Perfect. Once we've done this, it will create the formula for us. We don't need to look at the formula. That's not important. What we need to do is to be able to make a chart which will have both sales and sales for new customer like this along with my date like this. So as you can see, it's telling you that the sales for 2012 is the same as sales for old customers or other new customer. But in 2013, the sales is 26 lakh 77,000, but the sales from new is only 22 lakh 63. So obviously the difference will be the sales from existing customers, right? Like this. Again, I mean, I know I did a few extra things like creating a date table and creating a model, but once you do it, it's not difficult. It's just that there is a certain process that you need to follow to be able to do all these things. Okay. Great. Any other questions, anyone? In the meantime, I'll also update Power BI. I think the latest update came today. So I can't seem to find it. Where is my preview features? Strange, yes. Preview features. Oh, everything is selected. Perfect. So I have shared my YouTube link with all of you. I have a 1 hour course already available on YouTube. It's a 1 hour playlist that covers all the basics of Power BI. I think that is a good starting point for all of you. And yeah, obviously there are hundreds of thousands of videos available on the internet if you want to learn Power BI. Remember, Power BI is a very vast tool, so it's not that, oh, I just need to learn how to make visuals. Power BI is something used by both non-IT and IT professionals. So for IT professionals, you can even do Power BI programming, right? So you'll be able to connect Power BI to, there's something called Power BI Embedded, which allows you to use Power BI visuals and put it on your own internal on-premise applications. The reason I'm sharing all of this with you is to tell you that when you look at something like this, a lot of people suddenly think, Havish, what just happened? Like, we were learning how to make visualizations and how to do calculations. How come suddenly we have ISVs and embed tokens and all of this? This is not for you. This is for the IT guys, right? So Power BI is a bit of both. It's meant for you as an analyst, as a manager in any function. But at the back end, obviously, the IT guys will be able to do much more with it, as you can see. Right? So this is not for you, right? This is for the IT folks. So don't get confused when you look at all this. Good. Any other questions, anyone? Power BI is also integrated with Excel now. So because it's a Microsoft tool, if you're on the latest version of Excel, when you're creating a pivot table, you will notice that I can create a pivot table from a Power BI report. How cool is that, right? So I can select Power BI and it's asking me to sign in. That's strange. Let me use my organizational account. Let's see if that works. Yeah, perfect. As you can see, I can connect Power BI to Excel. In fact, Power BI can also be connected to Microsoft Teams like this. So inside Microsoft Teams, you'll be able to show your Power BI report. So the reason Power BI is growing so fast, in fact, this report came out a couple of days back, 2021 February, where Power BI is the #1 BI tool in the market. Look at this. Tableau is here, Power BI is here. Look at the difference between both of them. You have many other tools like IBM is there, Google is there, Oracle, SAP, SAS. There are so many of them, but Power BI clearly is the leader in the market. And it wasn't like this 5-6 years back. 5-6 years back, Power BI wasn't even there, right? So Microsoft used to be somewhere in the middle, right? And now Power BI has clearly made Microsoft the #1 BI player in the market. Great. Yeah, open to questions, anyone. I think I've given you at least a little bit of idea of everything. R, Python, Power Query. I've shown you the model, date table, measures, visuals, custom visuals, right? So we've done a little bit of everything. And the AI features, obviously. Okay, there are a couple of questions. Let me see. Please share the PowerPoint, brochure, ebooks, and Global Stores files for practice. Like I said, these are some of these things are available on the internet, but I mean, it's all a part of the course. So if you purchase the course, then of course you get all these things, right? Then Shubham, you want to do an MBA in business analytics? Any suggestion other analytics tools used? Absolutely. I'll be more than happy to give you a lot of suggestions. There's a tool called Nime, which is a data science platform which can connect to everything, right? It has over 2,500 nodes available on it. And this is definitely something that you should learn because a lot of companies are now working on Nime. So just to give an example, let's say I'm doing a credit scoring model, right? So this is how I can create a credit scoring model directly online. It will take about 15 seconds to open. Right, like this. So you can just connect different nodes with each other and you'll be able to do complete AI ML operations. And Nime is so powerful that Nime has everything that you want. You want to search for, I don't know, gradient boosting, type gradient boosting. You want to connect to SAP, type SAP. You want to connect to, I don't know, Google, type Google, right? There's absolutely nothing that you would not find available online. And whatever you don't have, you can always import it, right? Because Nime has these extensions that allow you to work on it. It's a free tool, so you'll be able to download it. This is definitely something that you should. I'll share everything, Harshal. This is as in I'll share the brochure and as much as I can, right? So Nime definitely is something you guys should work on. And then I don't know, like, see, I work on everything. So I work on Python and I work on R and all. For students, if you guys are starting out, I think Excel, Power BI, and Python are the three important things that you should work on, right? Because remember, even in Excel, you might not know this, but Excel has also changed quite a lot. For example, even in Excel now you have something like this. You can do JavaScript and TypeScript inside Excel. So Excel is not the same Excel that you remember and you are used to. Excel can do many more things now. Like Excel can do API calls and connect to the internet and whatnot. Like if you look at this, what I'm doing right now is that I am changing the color of a few cells. And you might say, but okay, what's the big deal? The big deal is that I'm changing the color of these cells, not using Excel. I'm changing this using TypeScript, which is a type of JavaScript. And this is very powerful because this can help me connect to everything on the internet. So if you notice, I can, okay, I'm not sure why my store is not opening. 1 second. Anyway, you can go and check it. I'm not sure why the store is not available. So you have different types of add-ins available. Like there is something called formula editor that helps you to write better formulas like this. How cool. Like if I write a formula, if I say equal to sum of 1, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, you notice that I can improve the way my formula has been written using my formula editor. I can format it, I can break it into different lines. Now, these things were not possible earlier because Excel used to work on Visual Basic. Now that Excel works on JavaScript and TypeScript, it has become much more powerful than earlier, right? So just keep that in mind. I mean, Excel, learn as much as you can. Power BI is a must. It's like a, like we used to say in a job profile, Excel skills are must. Similarly, Power BI is also a must. There's no question about it, right? And Python, I'm not sure. I think it's a good idea to learn it because you have to learn coding, right? And even if it is difficult, you have to start at some point. And to make you feel better, I'm a BBA and an MBA student in marketing and finance. So I started learning coding 6, 7 years back only, at the age of what, 26, 27. So my point is that, I mean, the age is just a number. It doesn't matter what your background is. I'm a commerce student with a BBA and an MBA in marketing and finance. I never studied any coding in my life. I started my first code, writing my first code at the age of 26, right? And in the span of 5, 6 years, now I work on so many things, as you can see, right? I'm not an expert, but I definitely work on a lot of different things and have a good understanding. So you can do it too, right? I mean, just start somewhere. And I think even on my YouTube channel, I've covered a lot of videos on Visual Basic and Python. I think that would be a good starting point for you. So great. Thank you, everybody. I know it was a packed session with a lot of content, but I hope you learned new things which you were not aware of. That was very important, that you are at least aware of so much that is happening in the area of data. And now that you know what is there to learn, you can start learning it. I will be sharing the recording and the files that you requested for. So the outline, as well as that PowerPoint that I shared. I've shared my YouTube link with you. And you can connect with me on LinkedIn. You have my email ID. Any questions that you have, please feel free to be in touch. I will be more than happy to answer. Great. Thank you, everybody. All the very best. Thank you, everyone. Thanks. I'm sorry I have another meeting, so I'll have to excuse myself, but be in touch and all the very best.